Diego Sanchez versus Michel Pereira takes place in the co-main event of UFC Fight Night 167 on ESPN Plus 25. Rio Rancho. Anderson versus Blachowicz this weekend, and it's going to be an amazing fight at welterweight. I'm looking forward to it. I really like this fight. Michel Pereira, listen, it's not the most highly ranked in the world. These aren't the best fighters in the world, I'll be honest with you. I mean, Diego Sanchez is a veteran, but in terms of being the best in the world, I think we're a long way away from that at this point with both of these gentlemen. I mean, they're both sporting a record of 29-12 and 23-10. But this is going to be fun, okay? And that's why it's the co-main event, because I feel like that's what the UFC did with Juan Adams versus Justin Tafa at UFC 247. They put them on the main event because they knew it's going to be a wailing fun fest, basically. This is all it's going to be. They're going to wail at each other, and we're going to have some fun. And the pay-per-view is going to have some entertaining fights, I guess. So this is why this got the co-main event. Plus Diego Sanchez, of course, is a big name. And Michel Pereira's established himself on the scene as doing backflips over and over again. So I guess that works for him. But I think there's a reality to size in MMA. And people have talked shit about me for saying this. That's not the only reason I'm going to pick Michel Pereira. But he's a younger man. He's 26 years old. He's learning after every fight. And if there's a fight to learn after, it's that Tristan Connolly fight. Because it's a time, maybe. Listen, I like the tricky shit. I don't mind the spinning back fists and the flying knees and the high kicks. And just, you can have a flashy style in MMA without the backflips and the backflips to the cage and the dancing. Like, you can have all of that in the fight. You don't have to just wear yourself out doing triple fucking backflips on the way to the fucking cage. And I feel like that's where he's going to learn. I really do. I think he thought that he was going to run through Tristan Connolly, so he didn't give a fuck about using any energy throughout the first round. And then he realised that that's the harsh reality of cardio. Tristan Connolly was a heavy bag, but he didn't throw anything. He didn't use any energy. So now he's got it. I feel like that's going to be a huge learning experience for Michel Pereira at 26 years of age. Still got his full career ahead of him if he does things the correct way. And Diego Sanchez right now, I think he might be the first guy to die. And it sucks to say that, but I don't know, man. I feel like someone has to say it, you know? I don't mean to be that rude and that direct about it, but like, there's a harsh reality to brain damage, guys, okay? And and with Diego Sanchez, I mean, trust me, I'm Team Diego. Don't get me wrong, I'm Team Diego, and I hope that he does well for his kid and all that, but, like, you know, I'm watching these interviews and I'm thinking to myself, dear God, this makes Stipe Miocic look like fresh as a daisy, you know? You may even think Stipe Miocic has never fought next to Diego Sanchez. I mean, honestly, it's tough. It really is. I know Diego Sanchez is a savage. He can still take a shot when he doesn't cut weight at 170 as well. He can take a shot well. He took shots well against Mickey Gall and came back. He took shots well against Michael Chiesa. He took shots well. I don't know, man. It's tough. It really is. I feel like Michel Pereira is going to beat him, though. I think he's experienced enough to finish this in the first round. I think he's going to catch Diego Sanchez on the chin doing normal stuff. It isn't going to be anything wacky. He's going to catch Diego with a punch. I think he's going to start going back to a little bit of, I can be flashy, but I don't need to be off the cage kind of flashy. And by the way, I want to go through Michel Pereira's record. I was going through Michel Pereira's record, and I noticed he had a no contest. Michel Pereira injured by cage. That was his opponent, got injured by the cage. I can only fucking imagine what was going on in that fight for that to happen. I couldn't find the footage anywhere of that fight, but Jesus Christ, that must be a fucking bouncy house of a fucking octagon right there, because to be honest with you, I want to see that fucking fight. So if you find that shit, please link it in the comments, because I do want to see it. I tried looking for it, I can't see it, but I can only imagine when it says Pereira injured by cage, he's done something I don't even know. I need to see that fight, okay? I'm just saying. I feel like Michel Pereira's going to win this fight, man. He's way bigger. I think he's probably going to do a bit better job of the weight cut as well. I know that was a problem that he was having on fight week, and to be fair, he looked fucking gaunt at the scales as well. I know he's a big fucking welterweight, but Jesus, he didn't cut that weight well. You know, you can tell, like, just by looking at someone if they've just drained it last minute in a rush rather than taking it down along the week. Like, you can see on media day in the interviews, the guys that look healthy at media day always look like shit on the scales. But the guys who look a little bit Like, you can see a little bit of feltness in their face. They seem to look better on the scales. And Michel Pereira is one of those guys. He looked fine. He's doing all the wacky stuff. All the backflips off the fucking... in the media day and all that shit. Very well. You've got all that energy and then he drains all that weight last minute. I don't know. I just feel like Diego Sanchez is maybe this is the time. You know? Maybe this is the time that Diego Sanchez is going to get KO'd in the first round at welterweight. And I don't know where Diego Sanchez is going to go from there. I can't tell him to retire. I have no power over his career. But he's 38. He's been doing this for the longest time. And not only has he been doing this for the longest time, he's been doing it for the longest time as Diego Sanchez. That's a different doing it for the longest time. He was on the first Ultimate Fighter. Before that, he had a plethora of a career as well. I mean, before he even joined the UFC, oh my god, he beat Josh Kostrick in the amateurs. I didn't even know that shit. Oh yeah, that was not in the amateurs. Jesus, Ultimate Fighter. Okay, I remember that. I thought he beat him twice. I was going to say. Either way. Crazy record. Had a plethora of fights before. Completely undefeated coming into the UFC. But then you look at some of his fights that he's had. Like, that's not good miles to have on your body, especially this late into your career. Diego Sanchez has some fucking wars. And I know that Diego Sanchez is really, like, praised for how tough he is. And in those wars, Diego Sanchez was so sick. But a lot of times in those wars, he's just getting fucked up. You know, but he's just tough and he survives it. That's not good. I'd almost rather he got KO'd early like Cerrone. You know? Cerrone takes a bit of damage. He shells up. He gets hurt. He goes out. And then he gets back up for the next one in 3 months. But Diego Sanchez just leaves it all on the line every single time. And he's starting to wear it a little bit. And I'm seeing it every single interview. And I wonder what he's going to be like in the fight week for this one. Who the fuck knows? I guess that's going to be a big indicator on where things are going. Because if we can't understand sentences, you're going to die. You're going to die. I didn't mean to say that like Chris D'Elia there. But you're going to die if that happens. I actually just stuttered. That wasn't a Chris D'Elia thing. I know it sounded like it. Michel Pereira. I think he gets it done. There's a lot to learn from the Tristan Connolly fight. I think he's going to bounce back. And if he wins this one, there's big fights to be had at welterweight, including if you're in the co-main event and you have some time on the microphone, call out your next opponent. You've got a very good opportunity on the co-main event of a fight night that, let's face it, if this was a little bit more stacked, you wouldn't have had. Okay? Because you're both coming off losses right now. Make the most of your fucking mic time. I know Diego Sanchez is going to go on a fucking CTE run afterwards, so there's no point trying to converse with him. But Michel Pereira, if you can just learn a few phrases of English. Learn how to say, Nico Price, me and you in UFC Fight Night Portland. Or UFC Fight Night Nebraska. Please. Okay? Let's make some fun. Michel Pereira versus Nico Price. Are you kidding me? I know Nico Price, people want to see him fight bigger competition at the division, but let's face it, Nico Price is a 50-50 fighter. Let's see him get 2 in a row. I know he has got 2 in a row, but let's see him get 1 more. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't got 2 in a row. He lost to Jeff Neal. Let's see him get 2 in a row, Nico Price, before we give him the ranked opponent. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. And if Michel Pereira wins, that's a fight I want to see next. I don't know what would happen to Diego Sanchez, but to be honest, I always pick against Diego Sanchez, and I always root for Diego Sanchez on fight night. I don't know why. I don't like seeing old guys get hurt by young guys, I guess. Maybe that's just a thing that I have in fighting. I don't like seeing Diego Sanchez getting smacked around, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like when Matt Brown landed that elbow, like I'm almost losing brain cells myself, just via osmosis, you know? It's tough to watch. It really is. We'll see what happens. Diego Sanchez is good. Listen, if there's a guy that can win, it's Diego Sanchez here. I need to talk about Diego Sanchez's game plan a little bit. I feel like Diego Sanchez can get this. If he can just smother and maybe try and wear on Michel Pereira into those later rounds. I just feel like the big guy that Pereira is and the damage that Diego Sanchez has taken in his career, Michel Pereira is going to land something flush in the first round. Diego Sanchez has every chance of smothering this and trying to take it into the later rounds and beating on Michel Pereira on the ground. I just feel like he's fucking huge. And in the first round, Sanchez is going to get shook off of him and blasted. I want Sanchez to win, but let's be real. He's fucking massive, okay? And I know that's not what we should base fights on, but it means something when Sanchez's only ability to win is by fucking smothering him against a cage and being the stronger guy. That's just not going to happen, I don't feel like. And I think Michel Pereira is going to smash him up. Like and subscribe. Call out Nico Price, please. That's a fight I want to see. Click that button there. Goodbye. I need sleep because I swear to God I'm going to die of exhaustion. Jesus.